that conversation you had is over. You're alone. Your shoulders are still up around your ears. I used to think something was wrong with me from not being able to let all of that tension go. That moment that conversation ends and I can just feel that tension in my body, and I don't even really notice until later that my shoulders are tight, my jaw is clenched, and my breath isn't even getting past my chest. When this happens, there isn't actually anything wrong with you. I know we're told that we need to heal and fix ourselves and work on ourselves and do the work and things like that. What this is trying to tell you is that your mind may have moved on at the end of that phone call. Maybe it didn't, but most of the time you do. You move to the next task. Your body didn't. Your body hasn't finished its job yet. My name's Tracy Malone, and this is the Secure Attachment Code podcast. I'm so grateful that you're joining me here today. A few ways that you might notice that your body is not in sync and in congruence with your mind is waking up in the middle of the night and noticing that your shoulders are actually up. Or maybe you notice that your hands are clenched. Or maybe when I'm really carrying a lot of cortisol in my body, I actually have what's called T-Rex hands and arms, where you're really doing this and pushing up into your body. That is a body that hasn't let go when the mind did. It might be when you're sitting down to eat and you get halfway through the meal that you've prepared yourself, this beautiful, healthy, nutritious meal, and you realize you haven't actually tasted anything yet, and you realize you haven't even properly breathed yet, and you realized that your shoulders are up again. Once again, it's so important to understand you are not broken. We are not broken. Your body may just be holding more than it's had the chance to put down. And it's more normal than you might possibly be able to imagine. Because of the speed that our days go through now, we are connected to everything. The wide world web changed our lives, and now things like social media and AI keep us in this consistent productive mode over and over. So your mind is moving on really quickly as to what it needs to do next, but your body hasn't been given the opportunity to catch up yet. And congruence is when we stay in our body and we allow ourselves to move from one task to the next. We carry so much tension and stress and leftover conversations, etc., in our shoulders, our neck, and our jaw because their wiring is tied to some of your oldest protective responses. We also have what some people call connective tissue, and that's our fascia. And that runs from the top of our head down to the bottom of our toes and weaves through everything. And it runs in lines through the body, and it holds the unresolved stress physically. The fascia doesn't just let go because your mind's decided, it's fine, we're going to stop thinking about that now and we're going to move to the next task. Your body holds the score, and that sits in your fascia. Understanding this now, you can see why willpower and just relax don't work. You're using a mental instruction to solve a physical protective response. It is the most natural thing in the world. Our body cannot, you've probably heard this one 1,000 times, your body can't tell the difference between a lion about to eat you in the jungle and a conversation that you're still holding on to. Our body goes into our sympathetic stress response when we're in stress. It does not decide that that's not as stressful and this is more stressful. It pumps cortisol and adrenaline into our body, into our fascia, so that you can run or you can fight. So telling yourself just relax will not work because you're talking to the brain, not the body. The body needs specific cues and specific platforms in order to be able to come back to safety, which is the parasympathetic nervous system, that beautiful rest and digest, and in polyvagal theory, it's ventral vagal safety. And what it's important to also understand is that tension that you felt because you didn't let your body finish that conversation, That's accumulated for your entire lifetime of unfinished things. So what's sitting in your neck and your shoulders and your jaw right now might not just be that last conversation. It's that last conversation laid upon the interaction you had with someone as you left the house this morning, or the frustration that you had earlier today, or the inner child wound from decades ago, or the ancestral trauma that you're carrying for the people who came before you out of loyalty and blind love for them. Back when I was studying to be a personal trainer down in Melbourne decades ago, we studied at a university and we got access to all of their really cool machines. And I had a lung capacity test at that time. And it showed that my lung capacity was excellent and it was at a level of an athlete. And so why is it when I get stressed, I can't breathe? So I have the lung capacity of an athlete, but I had the breathing of a 20-year smoker. My breath was only getting to here. And when I feel that tension in my body, my breathing would only land in my upper chest. So it didn't even get down to my middle chest. It actually sat really high. So if somebody said, take a deep breath, I would breathe in and my chest would lift up. And that's as far as I was able to get air in. Now that does not match the truth of what my body is. What it does show so beautifully is how stress can take over our body and make adaptive changes, because the fascia is so tight it couldn't get into my body even if I tried at that time. So what's meant to happen when you breathe is underneath your ribs is where your lungs sit either side, and as your lungs expand as you inhale, your diaphragm in between them should lower down into your body. So when you take a breath in, your body should actually inflate down underneath your ribs and push down. And what happens is, over years of stress, of the layers that I talked about before, and the amount of sitting that we do, our body's ability to lower into that breath and let the diaphragm lower into that breath, it doesn't actually happen. And instead, we're trying to push air up into our chest. When we sit down, we actually block our fascia from our rib cage, those lungs, all the way down to our knees. It is blocked. So when we sit for long periods of time, that diaphragm doesn't get that extension downwards. Over a period of time, it does not happen in one single exercise, but there are things that you can do. That's why I created the 4 pillars of the Secure Attachment Code, to let your body know that it can release that stress from your body, so that when your mind moves on, your body can move on as well. The very first step, and something that you can try today, is awareness. The only thing I'm going to ask you to do from here, the invitation from here, is to notice your breath. Notice when you've been sitting for a while. If you work from home or you have a job where you sit at a desk, just notice when you've been sitting for a while where your breath goes to. See if you can feel that diaphragm going down. There's nothing you need to do to try and change things yet. The first stage is awareness and getting really curious, because when you're curious and you can notice things that are happening, then when you start doing exercises, you can feel the difference. And when you start feeling the difference and the changes from what you're doing, then you will come into a relationship with your body like you've never had before. And it's a really beautiful place to be. That awareness is a small door, and it's not the whole fix, but it's a great place to start. And it's exactly why I built Unbrace. It's a 30-minute free class where you can come and do some maneuvers with me live to release some tension out of your neck and your shoulders and your jaw. And in those, we're going to combine the vagus nerve resets and building tone in your vagus nerve, because that's the platform that your ability to hold stress stands on, and some fascial maneuvers so you get instant relief and release through your body. And those maneuvers you can do whenever you would like to. So remember, you're not broken. You're just holding what hasn't had space to put down yet. And remember, if you want to actually feel what it's like to meet that bracing, instead of just understanding it intellectually and releasing it from your body, that's exactly what Unbrace is for. You can find it on the front page of my website. It's a free class and you can sign up for it now. Our first live recording together will be Tuesday the 25th of August. This is in 2026 at 10 a.m. So I hope you'll join me then. That'll be the first time I run this, and then I'll run it a few times after that. A replay will be available for those who can't make it live, and it's free. So check it out on my website, tracymalone.co. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Secure Attachment Code.